A new look at the harsh effects of the sequestration came from the Washington Post's Sarah Cliff this week, who reported that, quote, cancer clinics across the country have begun turning away thousands of Medicare patients, blaming the sequester budget cuts. The issue involves the intersection of the sequestration's cuts to Medicare and the expensive pharmaceuticals that oncologists use to treat their patients. Cancer clinics are increasingly finding themselves forced to make a choice that one clinic executive describes as being, quote, between seeing Medicare patients and staying in business. Conservative radio host Rush Limbaugh took to his microphone yesterday on this issue with an oncologist who called in saying this is a big concern for him and his colleagues.
You and I really don't disagree at what's happening here in the bottom. Well, the government's laying all this off on you. And when I say the government, in addition to trying to make it look like the Republicans are responsible for this, because it's the Republicans who did the sequester when they didn't. I don't know. The sequester really doesn't have any real cuts from a baseline.
It does in that one sense, because and that's why I picked up the phone and called you, because there really is a reduction, and I'm in touch with my colleagues who tell me that this is a source of great concern for them because they're already closely hauled on their margin.
Between the oncologist and Rush Limbaugh, I'm going to go with the oncologist who's actually trying to treat patients. Zach, where's your money?
I'll stick with the oncologist. Particularly in rural areas, a lot of the hospitals, a lot of the healthcare providers out there, not just at cancer clinics, are operating on very thin margins already. And they operate on thin margins because there aren't a whole lot of people in rural areas, and it's very difficult to just run a profitable business out there. And so when you do things that affect the bottom line of these types of institutions, it can happen in the sequester, it could happen in all sorts of other policy arenas. Something that affects things by 1 or 2% can really be a very, very serious thing for those specific providers. And when they're the only clinic, within 300 miles or something, that's a big deal for the community. And it's a big deal for the state of health in the United States.